Humans of the Cardboard, huge news out today. It's Saturday. Very exciting way to wake up for it, honestly. We just finished Legacy of Destruction reveals, and we immediately jump into Infinite Forbidden reveals. We get the cover cards, the cover art, and the entire support for that. So a bunch of Exodia support. That's huge. Shout out to me, honestly. When I did the release video for for when the name got released for the next set, and I said this just sounds like an Exodia set, like 90% of people in the comments were like, "No, not Exodia support. That doesn't really make sense. It should be someone from this anime series, not original DM." I was like, okay. But yeah, so shout out to me on that. And then we also got 2 more cards to support Yugi's cards from the last set. So all of his like final duel cards versus when he dueled the Pharaoh in the final episodes of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime and manga, they basically combine them into a cohesive archetype. We'll show those. We'll look at those at the end. But let's just get into it. We had a lot of cards to get through. So yeah, let's get into it. Start off with the Exodia stuff. This is the Phantom Exodia Incarnate is the first one. It's a big level 10 fusion spellcaster. He looks as cool as Exodia stuff normally does. I just want this archetype to actually be like an actual playable archetype, but we'll see. This card on the field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Okay. Once per turn, if this card battles during the damage calculation, it gains attack equal to your current life points. Honestly, that's not bad. As long as you're like 2,000 or above, that's like still decent. And like early, if you just don't take damage early in the game, then he's just 8k. And that actually means if you can get around your opponent's monsters and punch with him without taking any damage, you just OTK. That's cool. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card is activated, quick effect, negate the activation. Cool. Doesn't negate and destroy, but for spells and traps, that's not as important, because if you negate the activation, a lot of times it just gets sent anyway, so that's cool. Nice, it's an interruption. 4th effect, once per turn during the end phase, set an Exodo spell or trap or obliterate directly from your deck. That seems pretty good, but again, we actually saw this with the Yugi archetype last set, where like he had a trap and he was able to get it super for free, and I was like, if this trap is good, then this engine might be something, and the trap was literally the worst card in the archetype. So we'll see if there are some good stuff to set here, but yeah. I mean, still, he's a spell and trying to get by it regardless, but if this is also an interruption or like a decent like engine card, this could also help a lot. And the last effect, once per turn during your standby phase, you lose 1,000. Okay, so he slowly nicks himself down, gets himself lower, so he's not 8,000 anymore. So that makes sense. He can't just be 8,000 the whole duel. Next card, Millennium Cross. Normal spell. Is not settable off of this guy. Take 5 Forbidden 1 monster cards from your hand, deck, and or face of field and reveal them. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have to play the Forbidden 1 cards anymore. Like, I get it. They're, like, part of the classic Exodia thing. But, like, let's be honest. Unless this deck has a Link 1 to make use of them, they're probably just 5 bricks that this deck might just be making us play now. Just for this. But you take 5 of those from your hand, deck, and or face of field and reveal them. Can't take it from grave. So you can't even discard one and then use it from grave. I mean, I guess it's still okay. Then special summon 1 Phantom God Exodia Incarnate from your extra deck. Then shuffle all face-up monsters you control into the deck, except for Exodia monsters who are level 10 or higher, and Millennium monster cards. Also, you cannot summon for the rest of this turn, but you can normal summon or set. After activation, shuffle this card into the deck instead of sending it to the graveyard. Okay, so a lot going on here. This is fine. Right, because like assuming you're playing a pretty pure build of this, you just take the 5 Forbidden 1 cards. I like that you don't have to like you're not getting super easy access for the FTK stuff. You're just revealing them, and then they all get shuffled right back. So we're not going into FTK territory as much. It's just a requirement to get out your big boy here, who probably is like the most powerful payoff you have. It's fine. I mean, it locks you in. You can't summon after this, so you gotta make sure you're doing most of your stuff prior, but that's okay. And then, I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's a decent fusion spell. The problem is just, like, I really hope out of the rest of these cards we see a way where we consistently can, like, not hate drawing the Forbidden One cards, basically. Because if we have to play them because of this card, just because otherwise, like, how do we even make this guy? We need a way to make it so that drawing them isn't terrible, without, like, actually trying to make it an FTK deck anymore. But we'll see. Alright, next up we have the Caveman that awoke after a millennium. These are the art for the rest of them, by the way. I believe... Oh, God. Is this the Caveman? And this is like a stone guy. This is like a dragon. This is a Valkyrie. And this is your shield. We'll see. Okay. This is the Caveman. This guy is a level 8 Earth Beast Warrior. 2750, 25. Pretty beefy. 2 hard ones per turn effects on the first 2 effects. If this card is in your hand, you can place it in your face-up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Snake Eye support. Interesting. If this card is a continuous spell, you can pay 2,000 life points or reveal a Millennium Cross in your hand. That's the fusion spell above. Special summon this card, then you can add a Millennium Monster or a Sengen Gene from your deck to your hand. Cannot be destroyed by monster effects. Honestly, not too shabby. This actually reminds me of... Excuse me, guys. I'm dying. I'm so stuffed up right now. This kind of reminds me almost of the new Illusion monster that came out. It's just without normal summon, this card's able to plop itself on the field. It's a decent sized body, actually bigger than that one. This thing's 2750. Just jumps on the board and then searches you for one of your engine cards, whether it's a monster, a Millennium Monster, or whatever Sengen Gene is. And also can't be destroyed by card effects. Not terrible, honestly. You'd have to pay 2,000 or reveal Millennium Cross. I like that they give you the option, knowing that, like, if you're going to pay 2,000, it's going to lower the overall battle phase impact of your Exodia. But you don't have to lose, like, hand advantage, so it really depends. Maybe if you have I like that if you have, like, an extra Millennium Cross, like, boom, just put that back, don't have to pay the life points. That works out. Cool card, pretty good extender, I think. Next up we move to the Golem that guards the Millennium Treasures. This is a level 6 Earth Rock effect monster, 2,000 attack, 2,200 defense, 2 hard ones per turns. If this card is in your hand, place it in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Cool. If this card is a continuous spell, pay 2,000 or reveal Millennium Cross in your hand. Just special... Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I thought... That's weird. This just reveals Millennium Cross in hand. It doesn't have to shuffle it. I don't know why in my head I just, like, cut corners and assumed it shuffled. It just reveals. It's actually way better. I mean, not way better. Just save the life points. Obviously helps. Special summon this card that you can add 1 Temple of the Stone Slabs from your deck to your hand. The activation of your Millennium Cross cannot be negated. That's cool, too. So this card can reveal Millennium Cross to make it so you don't have to pay. And then he makes it so Millennium Cross can't be ashed or negated in any way as well. This card's pretty cool. Again, this is one of those cards where we have to see what Stone Slabs does. If this is not good, we're in trouble. Because that's the difference sometimes, is like this payoff being worth it. But we'll see. Still, again, like same summoning condition as the last one. I like the last one. Doesn't require any setup on field. They just plop on field as big bodies. That guy's 2750. This guy's 2,000, 2,200. And they both plus you. Honestly, pretty nasty. I think these cards seem good. Next up here, we move to Shield of the Millennium Dynasty. This is just Millennium Shield revamped. Level 5 Earth Rock. 0 attack, 3,000 defense. 2 hard ones per turns. Can place itself in the spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. If this card is a continuous spell, pay 2,000 or reveal Millennium Cross to summon it. Then you can add a Millennium Cross from your deck to your hand. So this is an extra Millennium Cross searcher. Nice. Okay. Cool. I was wondering because we were looking at it and I was like, seems like a lot of cards one should have Millennium Cross in hand, but like, is this just a hard 3 of and we have to play Pot of Prosperity to find it? Like, I'm not loving that idea. But we have essentially 3 more copies of Millennium Cross. Plus, you can play stuff like Triple Tactics Thrust potentially to get it as well, but that's not quite as amazing going first. But again, 3,000, not bad. Hopefully there's a decent way to make use of this body other than just like summoning it, searching Millennium Cross, and then just chilling. We'll see. Illusion Monster. Ooh, Illusion Monster. This is Millennium Moon Maiden. Okay. Level 4 Illusion, so this is searchable off the new Illusion Monster. If this card's good enough as like a starter, maybe that card becomes legit a playable card in this deck. We'll see. 15, 13 for the stats. I believe this is the girl, the Valkyrie looking girl. Two hardwoods return effects. If this card's in your hand, place it in a spell and traps in a continuous spell. It's just whole deck's vibe. I like it. If your opponent activates a card or effect while this card is in a continuous spell, you can special summon this card, and if you do, your opponent cannot target level 5 or higher illusion and spellcaster monsters you control with card effects this turn. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Honestly, not super impressed with this one. I thought this one maybe the goo, but it's actually the most underwhelming one. It's sort of like a hand trap, sort of, but you don't use it from hand. You place it's basically just like a trap more than anything, like a continuous. You place it in the spell and trap zone. Your opponent knows it's there, and then when your opponent tries to like play into your board, activates anything, this jumps out and then gives you protection, I guess. But like, I don't know. Alright, thanks for hanging with me. Not feeling the best, but whatever. Okay, last monster, I believe, is Millennium Absoluter or Millennium Fiend Reflection. Level 4 Wind Illusion, another illusion. Okay, still could redeem the illusion stuff. 13, 14 for the stats. First and second effects, hardwoods return. Place itself in the spell and traps in a continuous spell. If your opponent activates a card or effect while this card is a continuous spell, special summon this card, then you can gain life points equal to half the attack of one monster on field. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed. Again, these are the forgettable ones. These are the ones that, for me, are the most forgettable. I mean, maybe just the fact they're normal summonable means that we might still be able to find a space for them in some way, shape, or form, but I don't understand the utility all the way. This guy, I guess, is sort of like a funny time win condition, like going first. Now, the bad part is you just place it in the spell and trap zone, and it still relies on your opponent. The good news is, if your opponent just summons at all, or activates an effect at all, you're just able to special this guy and gain life points, and then it's an indestructible by battle body. So it is kind of annoying for sure. Okay, we need to find more interruption though. Hopefully that's where we find it here. Okay, so the stone guy searches this. This is a field spell. Hopefully this is a good one. Temple of the Stone Slabs field spell. You can only use the first effect once per turn. During your main phase, you can place one monster from your hand face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Then you can place one Millennium Monster or Sengenjin from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Whoa. That's actually crazy. Wait, does Sengenjin already exist? It sounds kind of familiar, but it's been referenced multiple times. Okay. So you do already have to have one in hand. That's the downside, right? Is you do already have to have a Millennium or I guess it's any monster from your hand. So I guess you could even if like you're kind of bricking on a hand trap, you could still place that. Let's see. Sengenjin's the freaking vanilla. Oh, okay. Nobody's gonna play Sengenjin, I don't think. So you'd place one of the Millennium Monsters up in the spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. That's the good part. It's getting one from deck placed, because then they just jump on the field, get you a free plus, and you keep going. But still overall not a bad card for sure. I like that it takes any monster from hand. If a face-up Millennium Monster and/or Sengenjin you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place it face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell instead of sending it to the grave. That's cool too. That just like basically inherently sets us up for grind game, which I like. Although to be fair, it's destruction based, so it's not like sent. If anything, it would be sent. It has to be destroyed for this to float. But the first effect's definitely the main effect. It's definitely maybe a 1 of or a 2 of, just to have the plus target off of the stone guy, because he actually seems pretty good overall. But yeah. Alright, Exodia Blaze. So this card is settable. This quick play is settable off of the new Exodia. Hopefully one of these is a good interruption. One level 10 or higher monster you control with Exodia in its original name gains these effects. The quick play. You can pay half your life points. You cannot activate other cards or their effects for the rest of this turn. Also destroy as many cards in the spell and trap zone as possible. Then equip 2 Forbidden 1 monsters from your hand and or deck to this card as equipped spells that give it 2,000 attack. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. So this is supposed to be more of an OTK card. I mean, I guess to be fair, it also does sort of just like pop back row. Destroy as many cards in the spell and trap zone as possible. Then equip 2 forbidden ones. I don't know, do you have to have all the forbidden ones in hand? Or is it like in hand or on field in any way? So does this also help us just get 2 forbidden ones in rotation for the FTK? Let me know in the comment section down below the ruling on that. But also, you know, gives it 2,000 attack. It's technically like it's probably a worthwhile one-of because it can secure OTKs potentially. I know it's only searchable on end phase, which is not super ideal, but if you save it to your next turn, it can secure an OTK. It's a mass back row wipe, and it gets 2 forbidden ones out of the deck if that helps with the OTK, and then just gives Exodia an extra 4,000 attack points and piercing. So I don't know, interesting. We'll see. This card's just okay, but hopefully this one's actually good. This is Raging Hellfire Exodoflame. So this is the trap. Hopefully this is the good one. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. If you control a level 10 or higher Exodia monster, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Okay. Okay. If this card is in your graveyard, except during the turn it was sent there, you can banish it to activate one of these effects. Add a forbidden one monster from deck or graveyard to hand. I love that that's graveyard. Love that. Shuffle up to 5 forbidden one monsters from your graveyard and or banishment into the deck. Okay, so the follow-up's honestly not that good. I mean, I guess it could potentially help you get to the FTK, but interesting. Very, very interesting. I think there's actually some potential here, and especially since Konami's been doing this. This is 2 sets in a row. Konami has come in with another wave of support in the next core set for even the cover cards. They used for the cover support. They used to never do that. Now they're actually doing it. I think it's really cool. I think it's a really good idea. The Ubel cards, the 2 new Ubel cards from Legacy Destruction, literally took them to the next level. They're like a legit good deck in the OCG right now. Hopefully, these these like Yugi cards are good, and then maybe there's still potential here. I think these main deck monsters are good. I think the Exodia is pretty good. This fusion spell is pretty good. Other than forcing you, I think the biggest downside of the deck overall for sure, is that it forces you to play the forbidden one cards. It's forcing you to, because you otherwise like can't make the fusion at all, and that's like the main payoff for the deck. So I think it's a good engine. I think there's some good stuff here, kind of like Yugi's support in the last set, but they're forcing me to play some cards I don't want to, and I'm not sure the overall payoff. Because what do we have right now? Like this deck with just the spell can set up a spell and trap negate plus a board wipe, because you get the trap plus the Exodia. So that's like pretty decent though. You know what I mean? Destroy all cards your opponent controls, and you have a spell and trap negate, so you don't like get turned off by board breakers. There's definitely some like that's decent payoff for one spell to resolve, but still feels like it might need more. Maybe it just comes in the form of like being able to combine. This is a deck that actually doesn't have a normal summon, so that's something to keep an eye on. But there's definitely potential here. This is not a nothing archetype, I would say. Just the vanillas are tough. Having to play the forbidden one cards is rough. Okay, let's finish up with the Yugi cards. This is Dark Magician, the Iban Sorcerer. I love this. This is just actually an effect monster, Dark Magician. Level 7 Dark Spellcaster, 25, 21. First and third effects are hard once per turn. If Gold Sarcophagus of Light is on the field, you can special summon this card from the hand. This card becomes Dark Magician while in the monster zone. That's cool. So is this card just going to allow, because it has Dark Magician in the name, so is this just going to allow Dark Magician cards to intermingle with the Gold Sarc cards? If this card is destroyed by card effect and a level 5 or higher monster is on the field, you can special summon this card. Then you can set one spell or trap directly from your deck that mentions Dark Magician. Okay, interesting. So I guess the goal would be we're trying to get this guy out. Then we're trying to summon the new Gandora, which wipes the board, including your own stuff, except for Gandora, I think. Then this guy triggers to come back, and then he also gets you another Dark Magician card. Not bad. I'm not sure if it's all the way there. I guess this card says it's probably going to have Dark Magician in the text. But again, it's going to come down to, like, is this card enough for us to be able to play like Dark Magician cards that won't brick us, but are actually like worth it. We'll have to see. Okay, my last card here is Dark Magic Barrier Mirror Force. Oh boy, it's a Mirror Force. Dark Magic Mirror Force, normal trap. When an opponent's monster declares an attack or an opponent's monster effect is activated, that would destroy a monster on the field. Oh, so close, so close. And a monster that mentions Gold Sark is on the field. The next time each monster you control that mentions Gold Sark would be destroyed by all card effects. This turn, it is not destroyed. Also destroy all opponents' attack position monsters. Then if you control Dark Magician, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed by this effect. And this card's terrible. It's just terrible. It's just goddamn awful. Just sucks. So, sorry. This card's funny. I'd honestly have to see. It's been so long since I've actually like dove into like what Dark Magician has overall at their disposal. There was a world where this card actually is kind of spicy for the deck, just to add like a small Dark Magician engine. But again, it has to work. Like I don't want to have to play this card, which does like somewhat seamlessly work. It jumps on the field pretty easily as a big body. It floats if it's destroyed, kind of thing. If we just have to play like clunky ass Dark Magician cards that like just get you some cheeky stuff, but like it's so clunky otherwise, it's not worth it. To me, this is definitely pretty underwhelming, not gonna lie. Dark Magician always is though. After seeing the follow-up Yubel support, I honestly had really good hopes for this, but honestly it's definitely a letdown to me. This card has potential though. This card's a dud. This trap is an absolute dud. I almost wish this was just a good interruption card and it just replaced the other card. Like, make it the same name and just say, sorry, that other one was terrible. This is a good one. Because that's what the deck needs, I think, at most right now. But we'll see. But cool stuff. Honestly, potential for the Exodias. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about the Exodia cards. On first read, what are you thinking? What are you going to combine them with? Because it definitely feels like they're pretty open-ended. There's no locking you out of anything, basically, except for after you resolve the fusion spell, which you can just do at the very end. So that's not a huge deal. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that for sure. But I'm out of here for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe to stay tuned on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News. Honestly, wasn't expecting these reveals so early. This probably means we won't get much for this set for like a whole month now. Maybe even a month and a half. Until we start getting into like the more regular reveals for the rest of this set. But still cool to see, and honestly, I actually do think the Exodia cards are pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll see where we go. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.